and welcome back to the reading vlog. It is Tuesday evening. As you can see, the lighting is pretty bad, but yeah, I can't change that at the moment. I need to buy a new light bulb, but light bulbs? But everything is expensive these days, you know, but yeah, I don't know, it's not on my list of priorities, to be honest. Yeah, it is... Oh my god, you know, we still don't have heat. It is still cold in here with like, we have one electric heater, as I told you last week, you know, that the company gave us. And yeah, it keeps our home at like a crisp 16 degrees, which really isn't a nice temperature in your home, in my opinion, to be honest, for like weeks on end. But yeah, we had like half an hour of heat today, because somebody restarted the heating and it goes out after half an hour, and that is not enough to heat the apartment at all. So yeah, I'm still freezing, kind of. But I did want to give you a reading update, because I read a little bit. I did listen to half of the, which is it, the 5th Murderbot series book? The 4th or 5th? Whatever part I'm at now. It's Exit Strategy is the title of it. I listened to half of that yesterday. It is great. We are now back on track with the main storyline. It is adventure, it is action, it is what I want to hear. So yeah, I'm really happy with that one. So yeah, listen to half of that and I will continue after this update, you know, because I will then go back to rearranging the shelves, because I'm still not done with that. But yeah, so that is what I listened to. And then I did pick up a book, and I've decided maybe I need to start reading books parallel again. That might be helpful. I try not to do that because of the reading vlogs, because I feel like then I maybe don't finish books in like 1 week and then finish all of the books in the next week, and I don't know if that is like nice for you to watch if you don't get like finished books in the week. But I might need to go back to that to make my reading more enjoyable again. But yeah, I did start a book, and that is Race the Titanic by Clive Classler, and it is the 4th book in the Dirk Pitt novel series by him. I think, what is it? The Numa Adventures? Something like that. It is one of his series. And yeah, the 4th one is the first one I own. And to be honest, I don't think for books like these, it doesn't really matter if you read them all, you know, because they are pretty much like self-contained adventures, and then, you know, you have like what happened to the character overall, but it's not like it's a focus of the story, you know. Each and every story has like its own focus, so I don't think it's really much of a problem. And I own so many of these, and I don't really want to buy more of them because I don't love them. I like reading them every once and again, but I don't love them, so I don't really want to buy more of them. So yeah, I'm reading the ones I have, and that is the first one in the series that I own, and it's the 4th one, story-wise, you know. But yeah, it is a book about the Titanic. Like, there was a guy on the Titanic who has like a really important substance, and now Russia and America kind of both want that substance to kind of gain the upper hand in conflicts, you know. And our main character is like from the Numa, I think, unit. It's like an ocean military unit, something like that, as far as I can see. And so yeah, they are kind of called in to help. And yeah, they kind of want to raise up the Titanic, which I think is funny, because the intro is like, yeah, the book was written 10 years before the wreck of the Titanic was found again. And he's like, yeah, we had the idea before it, and it's kind of cool to see it, you know, come into fruition. And then he's like, oh yeah, and in the future maybe we can like visit the Titanic. And with what happened not that long ago, Ocean's Gate, if it tells you something, the unfortunate incident with the self-built submarine that happened, and the fact that they are able to get submarines to the Titanic now and, you know, look at the outside of the boat and see how it looks, you know. It's kind of cool. I'm not like a Titanic fanatic. I have never watched the movie because I'm just not into that kind of movie. The only version that I've watched is the kids version with the mice as the main characters on the Titanic. I don't know what it's called, but if you know what I mean, you get it, you know. That one I watched as a child, but the real Titanic movie I have just no interest in. But I did visit the dock where the Titanic was built in Belfast a few years ago, which was really cool to see because I never knew that it was built there. But they have like a whole museum and like the outline of the ship on the dock, so you can see how big the Titanic was and stuff like that. Really interesting. If you ever visit Belfast, Belfast is a cool city. I would recommend to visit. It's a really, really cool city. I did like a language course there for like English and visiting from my school, which was really interesting, you know. But yeah, I'm getting sidetracked again. But yeah, so I did start this. I read the first 30 pages and it is definitely interesting. Obviously 30 pages aren't much of a book, you know. But yeah, I will maybe read a little bit more of that, maybe start another book to read parallel to that, but mostly I will listen to the Murderbot series and continue with that one now. And whilst I do that, I will continue rearranging the shelves. I'm really sorry that I'm not filming the process that much, simply because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm shifting things here and there, and I'm not really sure about how to set my camera up that you can actually see it, especially with the bad lighting now that it's evening. But I don't want to come down here in the middle of the day at the moment because I would have to take the heating with me, otherwise I would be freezing in here. And obviously when my partner is sitting upstairs, I don't want to take the heating from him for the whole day. So yeah, that is the reason why I'm only down here at the moment in the evenings, and even then only for a little bit of time. So yeah, it's not easy to film anything at the moment. But that is life. So yeah, I will do that, all of that now, and then I will probably check in with you tomorrow once I've finished the Murderbot book, you know, because that I will probably finish, if not today, at least tomorrow. Good evening. Technically, I, you know, wanted to film myself rearranging my bookshelves and finishing that, but as you can see, the dog has priority always, and he really wasn't happy with chilling alone. He really wanted to lay on my lap, so let me show you. That is how he wants to lay, and so I can't really do much other than laying here with him and having a little bit of a snuggle. So yeah, no footage of rearranging the bookshelves. I would say I'm halfway through rearranging them, which, to be honest, is more than I had hoped for, so that's fine. I will show you some footage tomorrow, I promise. Just not today. And then when it comes to reading, I finished the 4th Murderbot book yesterday. I gave it 5 stars. It was amazing. We are back on track with the main story. We did a lot of progress when it comes to the main story. We are back to the characters that I loved originally. And yeah, I just love that series so much. I'm on the waitlist for part 5. But that will probably a few weeks out from now because the waiting lists are really, really long at my library. So yeah, I'm on the wait list for that. But yeah, part 4, 5 stars. Absolutely loved it. I listened to it like in 2 evenings. It's just, you know, if you haven't read the Murderbot series, you really, really should. It's a brilliant series about a Murderbot. But yeah, and other than that, I didn't read any more of the Clive Cussler book. I just haven't gotten around to that yet. But what I did do is start a second book to read parallel to that, and that is Inkheart by Cornelia Funke. The original German title is Tintenherz, and I bought a booklet and that was randomly in there, and normally, obviously I would read the book in German, but I actually don't own a German copy. I have read it, and I did originally own a German copy of the two first books, of the first two books of the series, but yeah, I have gotten rid of them over the years, sadly. But yeah, I now own an English copy, and I thought, why not, for the fun of it, read the English copy, even though I know the story and it is in translation. But I have to say, it is a really good translation. I'm really happy with that. Translations, I feel like, are like up and down a lot. I feel like from English to German, the translations often lose a lot of the story, or like a lot of like the nuances and the language. And yeah, I feel like Inkheart is, but at least the beginning is like a really, really good translation. So I've read 50 pages of that today. So I'm not that far in. As you can see, it's a big book. But yeah, I read 50 pages of that, and I'm really, really happy with that. So yeah, it's a good fantasy book. If you've never read it, it's pretty much a story about a guy and his daughter, and they have special abilities. And if they read a book aloud, then the characters can come out of the book, and the story goes from there. And I really like the story. I think it's a great book. It's obviously more of a, well, not obviously, but it's more of a children's book. I think there was also a movie out there, but I've never watched the movie. I only ever read the book when I was smaller. And yeah, I am doing now an English reread of that. So yeah, I look forward to continuing with that. Which I might do just a little bit whilst this one is making himself a little bit more comfortable. But yeah, our heating is still not working. It is still really, really cold in here. So that is still a struggle with my energy, because I really still don't have any. Because, I don't know, I just want to stay near the one small little electric heating thing we have. Because you're only warm if you stay right next to it. Everything else is not helping. But yeah. So much for a quick little check-in for today, you know. Hopefully tomorrow I have a little bit more footage of the bookshelves and stuff like that for you, you know. So. Okay, so I finished Inkheart. I didn't really check in because obviously because of the heating problems. We still have no heat, and the company doesn't want to tell us when they will get us heat. It's a whole thing. I try not to be angry at anyone, because probably they all have their own separate problems and they just compile and make it so that we don't have heat. But it is annoying, if we're honest. But let's talk about Inkheart. I really love this book. I gave it 4 stars. I do think I want to pick up a German copy again, because this brought so many memories back of when I read it the first time as a child, and I'm really, really sad that I don't own a copy anymore, to be honest. The gist of the book is just that Mo and Maggie, I don't know, have I told you what the book is about? If not, I will cut it together that it makes sense. But yeah, Mo and Maggie. Mo is the father, Maggie is the daughter. Mo is a bookbinder, and he has to, you know, drive around, bind books, make his money that way. And he never reads to his daughter, and the daughter doesn't understand why, obviously. And the mother isn't in the picture. And someday there comes a guy, and he calls himself Dustfinger, and he comes to Mo and he's like, you have to give the book to Capricorn, because he will come and kill you. And the story starts with that, and it turns out that Mo has a really special talent, and then when he reads stories that he hasn't written himself, the characters come to life, and you can go, or he can, you know, bring somebody into a story and stuff like that. And so that is pretty much what Inkheart is about. And It is fantastic. I really like the concept. It is obviously a children's book. I give it 4 stars because it's not like one of those books where you read it and you're like, oh my god, I will never forget this. But it is a book that when you reread it, memories come back and you're like, oh, I really loved that, you know. It is a children's book, but it is not like a children's book, you know. I would say it's more like into the teens. The Maggie is 12, so that comes into that as well, you know. But I think it's a lovely read, all in all, you know. It's one of those books that I loved growing up because they just told stories about books and about storytelling and about all of the wonderful fantasy creatures that come with that. So yeah, that is pretty much what this is. I have, I think, never read the continuations because there are, I think, 3 plus an extra novel, which I have never read. So now I'm thinking I might have to get myself the trilogy and read in German again, and yeah, maybe learn a little bit more about how the story continues, you know. But yeah, I really liked it, so I finished the book this week, which is great, because I haven't done that yet, well, except for the audiobook, but you know. I haven't made any progress with the Clive Cussler book. That is what I will pick up now, and yeah, we'll see how it continues from there. But yeah, if you have never read Inkard, I think it's a good, like, you know, cold afternoon read, actually, because it's a cozy read, even though there's a lot of, like, dangers in the book, and there's a lot happening that isn't, like, nice, but it's, like, one of those fantasy books where everything really comes to life, and I really, really love that, so that is really nice. So, yeah, now that well, I have to end my lunch break now, because it is my lunch break at the moment, and get back to work, and then yeah, we'll see what I will do the rest of the day. If I manage to do more organizing with the shelves, I will check back in with you. Good morning! It is Saturday morning and I can comfortably sit down here again because they finally fixed our heating yesterday afternoon. The apartment is still not warm, like warm, you know, like the typical like 20 degrees you have in a home. It's still not there because they had to put in a new pump and it takes quite a while to get the hot water in here, but it is so much warmer than before, which is really nice. So I can finally spend some time down here again without freezing, which is fantastic. And yeah, so Saturday morning and the end of the vlog, but I do have a reading update for you. I didn't finish anything, but I did make some progress in the Clive Cussler book, Race the Titanic, and then I did start a second book, and that is it's by David Wong, and it's called John Dies at the End. So let's give an update on this one. I think it's funny. I'm 70 pages in now, so still not that far, you know, but I did make some progress. And this book is part of the Dirk Pitt series, who we haven't had anything from yet. It's 70 pages in, and all of our point of views are different people. All of them your typical macho man, government, secret service type of man, and they are trying to find this matter, you know. and they're still trying to figure out where the metal is. So yeah, nobody in the story knows that it's on the Titanic, only we as the reader, because we got the scene at the beginning. But yeah, and Dirk Pitt, he saved the agent that was stationed in Russia to find out about the metal. And so now our current main character wants to track him down and probably hire him to help find the rest of the metal. Like, generally the metal, because they only got like a teaspoon right now. So yeah, 70 pages in, no Dirk Pitt in sight. I'm thinking like around page 100 is probably when we'll change to his perspective. But yeah, I think it's kind of funny to have a book in a series about, like, you know, I kind of assumed it would be one main character, but it up until now it doesn't seem like it. And obviously the first book in the series that I'm reading, so I don't know how the series is set up, but we don't only have his perspective. Like, we have, I think, like 3 or 4 different guys, you know, all of them a little bit misogynistic. I know the book is older, but I always find it, I mean, it's important to have such characters, you know. I think you should ideally have every type of a character, but I always get so angry when you read, you know, about these guys that are like talking down to their wives and making them like seem bad, and it's I don't know, I get annoyed at that, but I get that it's part of the story and it's kind of important, but it's still annoying to me personally. Yeah, and then I started with John Dies at the End. This one I got randomly in a book club I bought, and it is a really weird book. Let's just start off at that. I think it's kind of a humorous book in a way. I don't know really, you know, I can't really tell you much about it right now. It has something to do with a drug that our main characters, John and his friend, I think, is he called David? It's John and... yeah, David, are our 2 main guys, and they're friends, and they seemingly took some drugs before the book started at some point, and now they can see ghosts and monsters and stuff, which is like a really funny concept. And they are kind of like, their tones go to, well, monster removal service, kind of. And yeah, that is pretty much where this book begins. I'm 20 pages in, so I'm really not that far. But the first 20 pages were like really amusing already. Like, you have our 2 main characters, you know, they're friends, and then they kind of like, you know, get a girl coming there, and she's like, yeah, my boyfriend, he's dead, but he keeps haunting me. And then she's like, yeah, he hit me, and the guys are already like, how can that be? You know, a ghost cannot hit somebody, which seems to be the case here. But they're like, yeah, we come with you, we will look at the case, and then once they're in the house and start investigating, turns out the girl is a monster, and she's made up of snakes. And then, you know, once they realize that, they get their boombox out, and with the boombox they hunt the monsters. It's, I don't know, I feel like it's like a really, it's a funny book, or a book supposed to be funny. And yeah, I have no idea where the book will go, what the title wants to tell us, and yeah. I really don't know where this will go, but it starts funny, so I'm really interested to continue with that. But yeah, I picked it up yesterday evening, you know, and I read 20 pages, and then this morning I continued with this one. But I do like the concept of reading 2 books parallel again, or like more than one book. Might just, you know, start a 3rd one. Just like starting multiple books and then reading them parallel. I think that is really what I'm in the mood for right now. So yeah, I will continue with that. And yeah, hopefully I will finish these 2 in the next week, but you will have to come back for that in next week's vlog, because I will end the vlog now. It has been, well, still a kind of chaotic vlog because of, you know, the situation with the heating and stuff, but yeah, next week should be better, because obviously now that I don't have to freeze whenever I leave the electric heater behind, now everything should be back to normal, hopefully. Also, I still haven't finished rearranging the books, obviously because of the problems with the heating. I made some progress, which you can see, but because I'm not ready, I won't show it to you. So you will have to come back for like next week as well. I'm sorry. But yeah, it just was too cold to stand down here and rearrange books, if I'm totally honest. But yeah, so I hope that even though the vlog is probably quite chaotic and a little bit on the more boring side because of that, I hope you still enjoyed it. And yeah, hopefully I will see you back for next week's vlog. Bye bye!